Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Thanks for checking out my video. Today I thought we would look at continuing our lessons on scales and improvisation by looking at the minor scale. Now I would probably say that this is a bit more of an advanced musical skill, and I definitely didn't learn this myself until much later in my musical education. But hey, we've done a lesson on the major scale, and although that is a great place to start and really beneficial to learn for our fingers, our ears, and our minds, I feel that it is really only half of the full picture. Music is made up from a mixture of different scales and chords, and although there is definitely many other variations used, a large bulk of it relies on major and minor harmony. Think of it like a yin and yang type thing. So why not take the opportunity to cover both at similar times, plus then hopefully you're ahead of the game. So now the minor scale is probably far less recognisable than the classic major scale. If you ask anyone to sing the major scale, or if you were to sing the scale to someone, most likely they would recognise it. They may not know that it is in fact called the major scale, but I guarantee you most people would probably have an idea. Feel free to stop any random person in the street, sing the scale to them, see what happens. You may get a completely different response. You may simply get a confused look, but I'm sure some people would play along. Anyway, the minor scale is simply not as commonly known as the major scale. That's probably due to the fact that the major scale features so prominently in Western music, but also in popular culture. Think of all those Disney movies you watched as a child, or are still watching now. Although they use a lot of different harmony variations, some way more intricate than you'd ever believe. A lot of the most memorable songs, Under the Sea, Bare Necessities, I Just Can't Wait to Be King, as well as many others, they all use the major scale. Not only that, but quite often many television programs, radio jingles, or advertisements also make use of major harmony. We simply hear that scale all the time, and that is probably most due to the fact that the major scale gives a naturally happy, joyful, or pleasant sound. If you were making an advertisement for, say, orange juice or a grocery store, you would want a light-hearted, happy musical piece playing in the background. Ultimately, this sort of music ends up having a psychological effect. The music becomes subconsciously memorable, and people end up associating the product or the place with happy feelings. Very sneaky. Whilst the major scale can sound happy, the minor scale definitely gives a far more sad, soulful, or mysterious effect. You will definitely still come across the minor scale from time to time in popular music. If we use Disney as an example again, the songs Everybody Wants to Be a Cat in the Aristocats, Let It Go in Frozen, and Friend Like Me from Aladdin, they're all written in minor keys. In advertising, you may find the minor scale being used in adverts for things like cars, maybe a travel company promoting exotic adventures, anything that benefits from that mysterious feel, leaving you intrigued or captivated and keen to find out more. Ultimately, we simply just don't hear the minor scale as much in the Western world, and that is most likely due to the tonal character it has. Obviously, once you start digging, searching for more examples and becoming more interested in music, you will definitely find more and more minor pieces out there. But I would say on the surface, the major keys are much more prominent. To me, I find the minor scale can also sound really jazz-like, and there is an awful lot of jazz pieces in minor keys, which is just probably what I'm most familiar with. But don't get me wrong, there is a lot of jazz in major keys too. If we use Disney as an example again, the verses from I Wanna Be Like You from the Jungle Book are a really great example of this minor jazzy feel. Just be aware that that song actually changes to a major key in the chorus, which is another very common trick in Disney songs. This is a great example as to why it is a really good idea to get to grips and become familiar with the sounds from both scales, as both can be really useful tools when writing and creating music. So the minor scale is also diatonic, just like the major scale. This means it includes 5 whole steps or tones, 2 half steps or semitones. Like many musical scales, it is made up of 7 notes and the octave. The A minor scale is usually the easiest to explain, as just like the C major scale, there are no sharp notes and there are no flat notes. The scale is simply A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and the octave A. If we look at the scale on a piano, it would appear like this. So once again, the white notes only. If you have a piano or a keyboard yourself, have a play around with these notes and you'll get a feel for the sound. So I have a keyboard here myself, so I'm just going to play through that scale really quickly here. Okay, there we go, A minor. If we analyse the spaces between each of these notes, we will see the pattern slightly change from our major scale. This time we're going to have tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. This is the pattern for all minor scales. Whatever key you're playing in, these gaps or spaces will always remain the same. On guitar, each semitone is indicated by each fret. So a whole tone would be 2 frets. So all we need to do is identify our starting note or root note. In this case, we're going to use A, and simply follow that pattern from there. Easy, right? Yeah, cool. So let's go down to the guitar and let's give it a go. Okay, cool. So once again, if we start off on just one string and we follow that pattern that we were talking about, tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. Now, like I said, on guitar, each semitone is indicated by 1 fret. So that's a semitone there. And a whole tone by 2 frets. So that's a whole tone there. So I'm going to start here on the open A string. And that's going to give me lots of room to work up the neck. Okay, so A, tone to B, semitone to C, tone to D, tone to E, semitone to F, tone to G, and tone back to A. Now, just like we did with the major scale, although this is correct, moving up and down the neck this much on only one string is obviously not practical. So rather than only moving up and down the neck, we're going to look at scale positions by going up and down the strings. Just like the major scale, there are 5 main positions for the minor scale, extending across 12 frets of the neck, before the shapes simply repeat again. Just like with the major scale, these shapes can also be referred to as C position, A position, G position, E position, and D position, after the chordal shapes they resemble. Although just bear in mind that obviously this time they're going to resemble minor chord shapes. This method of learning is known as the cage system. Again, as we play through these shapes, it's important to make sure that you are using all 4 fingers for fretting the notes. We want to use all our fingers, building strength across our whole hand, and maximising our playing capability, no matter how difficult it may be in the early stages sometimes. We also, if we can, we want to try to follow a down, up rhythm, which is known as alternate picking. This will also help you to improve your speed in the long run. As I mentioned before in the major scale video, if you have a metronome, definitely start to use that while you run your shapes, as that will definitely help you to improve your timing and speed. And if you don't have one, then go and get one. Cool, yeah, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get down to it and learn the 5 shapes of the minor scale.